Manyoko son oui ya son anamu ki agbani ba to wi otomo ni o ya do mo si afiye ya o amo manyoko son oui ya son den be mu o ya ki agbani ba to wi otomo ni o ya do mo si afiye ya o ki a se pa yanju o ki se pa yanju o Sapayanju ka o ma si apayanju o so si olele ya si olele o ya si olele lele o ya si olele yo si olele amo manyo ko so wi ya son dan be mu Ki agbani ba to wi otomo ni o abiyan mi do mo si afiye ya o Ki o se payan jiju o mama Ki o se apayan jiju o re son ke wo ki o ya ki o se apayan ju o Ki o ye uri money mo re to le se ma bembe son bi Ki o ye uri manyo e abatoni Passion même oh Kia we money More dollars ya ma même pio abinyo be
Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to yet another edition of Tough Talking Thursday on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jai and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition of Tough Talking Thursday, where there is no room for Tabata, we're going to be talking transition, and we're also going to talk about the pronouncement made by the LACC, that's the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, about auditing, declaring assets. So you have to declare your assets, your liability, and your interest before you leave office, and also for all those coming in. So transition and asset declaration will be our topic tonight. And fortunately for us, we have Mr. Ahmed K. Salif and Dr. Abdullah Dukle, who participated in the transition the last time, 2017. Let me welcome all of you. And starting with Mr. Ahmed K. Salif, he's our advisor on governance issue. Mr. Salif, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. As always, it's a pleasure. Let's do it.
Thank you. Let me also welcome Dr. Abdullah Dukle, who has been working in the executive mansion with President Sawyer and also President Salif. He too participated in the last transition. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. Happy to be here.
We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is Tough Talking Thursday. If you have not done so already, please invite a friend, share the show, and let's do it. Today is the birthday of President-elect Joseph Newman Boakai, and also the birthday of FOL On Point host, the unabashed and unapologetic sedition Jerome Gaiman. Two birthdays, birthday for two persons who really done so very well of each other. Coincidence or what? But we want to say happy birthday to President-elect Joseph Newman Boakai and our man Jerome Gaiman. Talking about transition, and both of you know this better than I do, is when we are transitioning from one government to the other, the president has already constituted the transitional team comprising people from his side and people from the president-elect Joseph Newman Boakai's side. So the first thing I want us to look at is that structure or the team, transitional team. I have seen probably what I call an unofficial list from the Boakai side and what should be the activity. So let us start with the transition team, the structure, the milestones, timelines, things like that. Let me be honest, I didn't pay much attention to the last transition, but this time I'm focused on it. do we supposed to know anything? Mr. Salim, let me start with you. Let's talk about the team structure, the team itself, the structure. What are they supposed to be doing? And are we supposed to know anything about what they're doing?
Well, thank you, Dennis. I'm happy to be here. Well, I mean, as citizens, you want your government to be transparent, and an incoming administration, you want them to get on good footing, to hit the ground running, being transparent, putting things out there, creating momentum, and really exuding this sense of a new day. This is a new team, a new administration coming office. We're different. We know what we're doing, that sort of thing. So yes, in that sense, you're supposed to know something. And like I said in my piece that I posted on social media a week ago, we do not have uh, anything legislated for presidential transition. I mean, there is something in the Constitution that talks about transferring power, but that's about it, as broad as it can get. And so what we've had is during President Sirleaf's time, in the absence of a legislation, she passed an executive order and created a structure. It is that structure that I called for in my article the last time, similar thing to be set up. And that's exactly what President Weah set up. I'm not saying he followed my advice, but at least he followed basically what happened in 2017. In 2017, President Sirleaf went to the legislature and asked them to pass a law, essentially just before the transition kick off. But the legislature at that time was asking for a what I call retirement package, a little over $1 million. And the negotiation fell off. The president didn't agree. She thought they were greedy. And so she passed Executive Order 91, set up the Joint Presidential Transition Team, the JPTT. Uh, JPTT, the president, the way she constituted it, her director of the cabinet, a man named Jordan Solante, was the head of the secretariat. So the structure is that you have a joint presidential transition team. That team is co-chaired by the outgoing and the incoming leaders. Okay, that's basically the co-chair, both of them. And then there's a secretariat. This secretariat, they can appoint a senior official of government. In President Weah's case, the foreign minister, who is the dean of the cabinet, is the one who is heading the President Weah side of things when he's not there. On incoming President Barker's side, I see that he's named people that will lead the structures as well. But the structure is such that there's an overarching body, that Joint Presidential Transition Team, the JPTT. It has a secretariat. The secretariat is responsible for day-to-day running of the JPTT. 2017, they constituted 6 technical committees based on major thematic areas, from governance to rule of laws and security, inauguration, and so forth and so on. We don't know anything about subcommittee, technical subcommittee under this new framework yet. At least I haven't read that, I haven't seen it yet. What I've seen is that, yes, the JPTT, the 2 leaders, outgoing and incoming president, will co-chair. If they're not there, the designator who will serve in their absence, who will deputize them. And then there's a secretariat, and they define the function of the secretariat. Each appointed who will act on their behalf on the secretariat. That's the structure we know so far. Like I said, I haven't heard them establish technical subcommittees. That technical subcommittee is not by law. It was, in the Executive Order 91, she stipulated how the secretariat will function. In this President Weah Executive Order 292, I believe. I don't remember the number exactly, but I think that's correct. It only talked about JPTD secretariat and who will constitute this structure. Now, the technical people they named to this committee, the secretariat at least, are supposed to then establish these technical subcommittees, and some of the technical subcommittees require sub working groups for various reasons. We can go into some of those later on.
Thank you. Dr. Dukley, even from the incoming president's side, we saw a list that came up. I don't know how official that is, but so far we've not heard much from Mr. Bwaka if he has actually set up his transitional team. You participated in this. What does the structure or what we know today about the transitional team tell you?
I think Boca has, well, they met before. I mean, the transitional team met. Boca was there with his team, and President Weah was there with his team. So I think that issue has been resolved. I mean, that question, I don't understand it, but yeah, definitely Boca has a team. Kofi Wood uh, took the lead, I think, introducing other members of the team. And I think he's kind of serving as the secretariat on the side of Boca. Uh, but I think what is more important about this whole process is this peaceful transfer of power from one administration to another one, from one government to another one, as we call it. And I think that's what is important, that people see them working together and say, okay, this is the state of the republic, this is what we have, and this is what we're going to give to you. And it's all done, supposed to be seamless. Although, the last time it happened, transition after we finished, they say after inauguration, they put the transition paper in the dustbin and walked away from it and said, no, we're not interested in that. So I hope that Buckeye will take this team, this whatever they give them, and then use it. Huh?
I said by this time we saw when the two groups met, we saw introduction. But by this time we don't have anything official as who make up this team. Should we have that?
I think the official list is what they transmitted to the mansion. Maybe you have to look at the, I don't know, have you looked at the mansion website? Because whoever went to Buakai at the mansion was part of the team officially.
Is that an assumption? Because
yeah, that's 20. It was 20 people, and then he called them by name one by one. And those were the institutions. I don't know if they were supposed to publish it for people to see, or they were supposed to have, but I think that's the official list, as far as I know. And
right.
I mean, from the talk that I had, I talked to a few members of the team, and that's the official list. The one they presented to the conference, the first meeting was the team. But I think that there's a lot of people working there. People, Ahmed is a detailed person, and you see all these details in a committee, subcommittee, working group, and all of that. But really, what he says is, what state are we passing the land to you? In what state are we giving you the country? What have we done? This is what we have. These are the institutions, and this is how they're working, and etc. And then you give the people also confidence in the democratic process, because the people see, okay, the two people who fought each other to gain, now are sitting together to work, to work out things, to say this is where the country is supposed to go. This is where we're leaving it with you, and then you do what you can do. And that's my reading of the whole transitional thing. I mean, you could say, in the end, what matters is the bottom line. How much money they're leaving you with,
right,
and how many people they brought into the government since they took over, and they're living you with, and what are the deficit, and and the pluses. I think that's what matters at the end. I mean, but it is a good exercise, for a democratic process.
Right, Mr. Salif, I think maybe I don't want us to get lost in that transfer of power that, hey, it was peaceful, because the first time they met, especially from President Weah, congratulating his message even before the final result. So all of us were carried away and we very excited. But beyond that, Mr. Dr. Dugley talked about that unofficially. For me, I'm concerned that we don't have that official list yet, and people, I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not. And I'm not talking about legislating it.
But where are you supposed to get a list? Where do you expect to get a list?
I expect to get it on the official Unity Party letterhead, either on their website or on the Unity Party Facebook page. Say, here is the list of people that are making up the transition. I don't want to assume that whoever was at the executive mansion that day is part of the transition team.
I guess
Mr. Salif, am I out of my mind here?
No, you're not. Actually, what I'm hearing you ask is, look, the transition team may be working, but is that citizen participation in a way? Are we supposed to see them working? Are they supposed to publish some kind of thing so we know their schedule of activities and where they're heading? I know most people usually look forward to appointment lists. This person is appointed to that position and so on. No, that's not what the transition team's job is. The transition team is ensuring that the outgoing administration, they basically take account of the government. They are able to verify government asset. They are able to receive handover notes and process these handover notes. They are able to oversee a daily briefing of the incoming president, on different subject matter, the state of the economy, governance, security, national security, foreign policy, and so on. Is the transition team's job to have a technical team in place that's doing that drafting every day, and the people who are designated, who are briefing the president-elect, who have expertise in this matter. They're also supposed to ensure a smooth transfer of government agencies and commissions and so forth and so on, whether be they how much money each of these agencies leaving in the agency account, what's in the government consolidated account, what's in our reserve, what kind of turnover notes. These things should be documented in turnover notes. Turnover notes will look at things like, okay, we focus on the money here, but projects, things that the government was undertaking, governance matters. What are domestic obligations, international obligations of the government? What are we supposed to take over and run with it? We need to have total account of that. And then there's a group within that transition structure that's focusing on inauguration, the ceremonial part of it, to ensure that everything is will be in place on the inauguration day. Foreign dignitaries who will do what, who will speak, who will play what role, where would this happen? All of that is sort of happen. Those are kind of like the real nitty-gritty, smaller side. I'm not underestimating that, but the major work is how do you support the president-elect so that from inauguration ground, the president is ready to govern on the second minute after inauguration. That's what the transition team does. So they look at the day-to-day functioning and moving all these pieces, verifying people's background, people that the president-elect will be considering for appointment, for example, checking, doing background check, their credential, their experience, and things like that, presidential personnel, and who will populate the executive branch of government. All of those things, that's the function of the secretariat of the transition team. And like I said, they will establish various subcommittees, working groups that are doing different things. Sometimes they hire technical people if they lack, not lack capacity, but if they need support in certain areas. Sometimes our foreign friends, the United Nations, UNDP, and others will come in to suggest and support and back them. So there are many things moving, many different pieces are moving and things are happening. So Dr. Dukla is right. It's not usually done in the open, but I would say it wouldn't be a bad idea to really send some signals on a daily basis as to the readiness of the Barker administration that's coming in office, what's happening, who's running what potentially, and the direction in which they're going. That will send, it's not required by law, but that will send a strong signal to citizens. It would basically affirm the votes that they trusted the President Barker with, that these people, they're transparent, this will be a responsible government, and we like how they're starting.
From the look of things, Dr. Douglas, do you think these things are happening, maybe behind closed door or something, or we are still celebrating?
I'm not sure. What Brother Ahmed wants really the incoming president to do, to be holding conferences and the state of the economy. That's not his job. I mean, he's not president. He's not.
I didn't say him, Dr. Dupree. I didn't say him. I said his secretariat, his technical.
Yeah, but the secretariat is him. The secretariat regime.
And they're supposed to be shadowing the.
No. The transition team is very specific. You have very specific areas that you want to, look at, and then those are,
I'm
the
talking about shadowing. Should they actually go to these offices?
No, they don't go to the office. They
No.
meet at a mansion usually. They meet and work together. They bring notes and then they share notes. They say what is there, how many cars, how many people work there, and who's doing what. Da 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 da. They do that, and how much you have in your account. But when was the last check you issued? How much was it? You can go into those details. But in the end,
do you think that's happening?
There are two teams. Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, it's happening now. There are two teams actually. But Boca has two teams working. You have a transition team that is focused on, just appointment issues. And you have a transition that is dealing with the government, outgoing government. So, they don't, these are not mutually exclusive. People can be part of both teams. But, in the end, people know what Boca promised to do. I don't think this is, you can't campaign now. And you can't be going on the air and say, okay, my team this is what we're doing. I think this is a moment of just, a consultation between two teams to work together. Whatever they publish it. If they don't publish it, at the end of the day, they say, okay, we finish our work and somebody may want to publish something. But I don't remember in 2017 that we did publish anything. We didn't.
No, they didn't publish.
Yeah, we didn't publish anything. There was no public hearing. This is just a very administrative thing. So I don't think it's a political thing that say, oh, we got to emphasize this. He's not going to bring anything new to Bucket. He's not going to take anything back, from where. So I don't see the necessity of publicizing or talking about the finding. This is just passing notes to each other from one administration to another one. Bucket made his promises. We know them. Joshua made his promises. We remember them. He's going out, Bucket coming in, and that's it.
No, Dr. Dukley. I mean, I don't want to say that you are trivializing it, but I think you are making because this is huge. And one of the reasons why we want to break from the past is when we had a weird transition, we didn't see anything. So non-publishing, it shouldn't be the gold standard here.
No. I'm not talking about.
One second. So secondly, because of that fuzzy transition, we had the argument, we inherited nothing in the coffers. Oh, this other one, because nobody knew, right? So that's the past we are trying to break away from. So we are expecting a little more from the Buckeye transition team. Don't you agree?
No, when you say, oh, there was noise about this is what we had, there was no money, there's no money. But those things are, practical things to verify. There was money in the bank. There was money in the, in the reserve.
We should have transitional notes that was going
to. But the transitional notes were passed along to the WEA government.
And so we don't know. So it became you say, I say. That's what we're trying to avoid.
It's not you say, I say. It's not you say, I say. It was public. How many? Ellen talked about this. She said how much money she left in the government coffers when we complained that there was no money. I think it was Samuel Toy at one point said we came here, the coffers were empty. Right. Ellen went on and said, no, we left, I think, $168 million into the reserves. And it's in the notes. And somebody actually published the notes. I mean, these are public documents. I'm not just saying that, we should exclude Buckeye from doing anything. I'm just saying, yes, we should demand accountability. We should demand that, whatever government does is, put out for people to know and judge and make the decision as to, how to react to it. But definitely, yes, they should do it. But I'm just saying that this whole exercise, the most important part of it to retain is this two people who fought for power coming together to say, okay, I'm going to give you power and this is what I have left. I'm leaving you with. You have to understand that. I mean, the rest is paperwork. The rest is paperwork. They say, the man said, I left $200 million. And then you go to the bank, they say, oh, there are only 2 million. You say, oh, I forgot 2 zeros. What are you going to do? You go public and they say, I'm not in the government. So the bigger picture is what matters. Transfer of power, democracy. But, the details is between the two administrations. You will never know that.
We want to know.
Yeah, but you will know the numbers, but you will never know how it works.
Okay, right. The most important thing in this thing you're saying, well, transfer, but this is going to happen no matter what. So the details, I think, are the most important thing. What is it that you are transferring? Is it being done? Are they meeting to have this transfer and turnover and all that stuff? I mean, that's what I mean. You can disagree, but another thing about the transition is the activities, right? The messaging. Okay, they're not supposed to. I mean, They've not published anything officially. We don't know who is part of this team. We don't know because the list that came out on Facebook, anybody can write that. Our only reliance is on the people that were introduced. So out of that, there are a lot of things coming up. Go ahead, Mr. Sullivan.
Dennis, let me say something. Look, Dr. Duke, I'm not here to suggest that we have two presidents at the same time, or President-elect Barker should be, giving press conferences, speaking on the economy, those kinds of things. No, but President-elect Barker, as he should, is receiving dignitaries, is receiving guests, international guests, diplomats accredited near our capital. They're calling on gas. He has an office. He's working. And that's how it is supposed to be, right? He's actively working. He has staff. He has security. State security is, in fact, security as residents has been beefed up. He has a convoy has been restructured. All of these things. This is not camping asset anymore. This is the president that's in the making just in a couple of months here. And so those kinds of things are happening. There's nothing wrong with him receiving briefings, and he should. Actually, they do. You receive briefings, whether it's on WhatsApp. There, I was just naming a few areas. It could be the economy, foreign policy, national security. Whatever it is that they need to know to be prepared, and also to function between now and inauguration day when they receive these guests. The Americans were there yesterday. Before that, the European Union was there. Before that, African leaders, the ECOWAS was there, the AU was there. And then
I know that. Yeah, but I know all these things. What is the point?
I know you know.
So yeah, but I'm just saying, okay, why are you telling me this?
Just that, well, I don't know what I'm just talking about, that maybe you should be holding press conferences on the economy and things like that. That's what I'm clarifying. I just
want to ask a question.
For the audience, I'm stating what's happening.
You guys have been here since Yapawolo time, 150 years in America. What do you remember from any single transitional team? From Bill back, as you remember, 150 years you've been in America. What do you remember from any transitional team that they did anything? Just tell me.
Dr. Dukla, no, don't make it that. That is now our standard. It
is my standard. That's democracy. That's the democracy I'm embracing. And I'm just saying, do you remember anything from any transitional team from this country that you've been in for 150 years? No, zero. Because transitional team is just a formality.
But there's law here. They have the National Transitional Act. They have the presidential. They have all kinds of structure, and they're doing things. The press is covering it. We do see it. They don't broadcast and name people announced like that. That's not what I'm saying here. But at least they have the legal structure. They have legislation. In fact, there are certain things you must. Why was there a big brouhaha when Donald Trump refused to leave, when they weren't cooperating with agency briefing and things like that? There's a whole process. In fact, if you go by that American standard, you're asking Dr. Dukla, I'll tell you, yes, I have seen things, I've heard things, I've read about things. There's nothing wrong with that. I've heard that the president-elect received briefing when President Obama got elected. He was in Chicago. Immediately they deployed Secret Service detail at his private residence. He began to receive national security briefing. He already had national security clearance, right? So these things.
I know all this. I was there.
I don't understand the argument.
But I was there. I know these things. I've seen change of power from hand to hand at least three times, from inside. From the office of the president, from the bedroom of the president. So I know these things. I'm just saying, transition team, transition work is about paperwork. It's about peaceful transition of power. The details are good. The president, you can say, yeah, Mr. Barker has a team. But, one thing you want to do one thing you do want to do in a transition time, I don't think the incoming president, his team, are supposed to be holding press conferences on national issues while they're going through transition work. I think that's the work of the government.
I don't think that's
It
what
is
being
the
suggested
government
here.
work.
That's why I was clarifying too, because you seem to be suggesting that that's why I'm asking, and that's not what I'm asking.
All right.
And you know, and for the sake of our audience too, Dr. Dukla, I'm not here to lecture you. You are senior than I am, more experienced than I am. You've participated and worked in government. I have not. So I'm not here to lecture you. I'm just telling you what I know, you actually challenge me on the American process, and I lay out for you based on what I know, what the law says. So if citizens are asking to be able to see things and hear, you know, some process and about structure in the media, or if the media is asking, that's their job.
Thank you. Talking about structure, let's look at the messaging. Again, what I was asking or questioning is, what is the message coming out of the transitional team or the incoming president's office? Of late, there has been a brouhaha about messaging coming from my friend Amara Kone, saying this, saying that, which is kind of almost like speaking for the incoming Bwaka government. Is that true? Do you see that as a problem because the transitional team or the incoming government, we don't see the structure that will give us these kind of messages out there? Dr. Dukle, or they're not supposed to tell us anything?
You brought in two things. You said you're talking about messaging.
Yeah.
As from the campaign?
No, from the incoming government, president-elect office.
And then you're talking about Amara Kone.
So I'll give you an example. When the president, we are congratulated President-elect Bwaka, we first heard it from Amara Kone. Is there something, should we have like a public relation arm in the president-elect's office that's supposed to be telling of these things?
Yeah, but I think the Unity Party is dealing with that. I think I saw some reactions on social media where Amara was asked to, you know, refrain from taking credit for things he has not done. It was said in so many ways, and I don't think, you know, they run a campaign. The media team, the Bwaka team, run a campaign. They won the elections. When you win an election, it's like having a beautiful baby. Everybody wants to be a father to it. Excuse me, this thing. But I think I think the team is still information. This is a new thing. You know, when you win an election after 6 years of being in the opposition, waiting, and then you finally win it, and everybody say, wow, I'm going to have this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. Everybody takes through, you know, try to pull the blanket to themselves. And that's the problem that's going on. And I'm sure Bwaka will, you know, in his own manner, without speaking, without saying a word, will probably find a solution to it. I mean, Mo Ali is still a spokesperson for the campaign. He has not been replaced. No new nomination has been made. So if we don't hear from Mo Ali, then it's not from the Unity Party. And I don't think Amara was part of the Unity Party ever. He worked with Madam Salih, but he was never part of the Unity Party.
Yeah, but because of the success he had with the War Room, so people started listening to him. So he became almost like a de facto spokesman. Is that something that is do we characterize that as confusion because we don't have the media team of the president-elect coming?
No, I think just one person is confused. There's one person confused. Is probably Amara, because he is a senator-elect. He's not part of the executive. So if he wants to help Bwaka, he can do that without putting himself in the papers. You know, it's about political maturity. I'm going to say it here. I mean, if Amara wants to help Bwaka, he's in the Senate. He can push Amara, you know, Bwaka's candidate. He can talk about Bwaka issues and stop meddling in the affairs of the executive and stay in his corner as his legislature and work on that and, you know, see that agenda. I think he's the one who was confused. I don't think Baka is confused. I don't think Mo Ali is confused about his job. And I don't think Pade is confused about his job as a communication director. All these people know their jobs. He's the only one who is confused about being part of the legislature and also wanting to play in the field of the executive. I don't know why. Because I would rather be in the Senate where I get 9 years for free. Either I work or not.
That's not a good one.
Well, you do 9 years.
Uh,
Yeah, why not? It's
Mr.
lovely.
Walker is with from the campaign time till now is not the one who will get ahead of things publicly for us to see. So with all the mixed messages coming out of his campaign, don't you think that the president-elect office should come up with something to clarify these things, or is he? I don't want to say just sitting there and all these things going on, because what we saw, what we witnessed was like almost an infighting. People who believe that the
Between who and who?
between people that are in the Buckeye's orbit, saying, "Hey, it's my job. Amara is trying to take something away from me." So it has been intense in on Facebook and other
Yeah, but
media
that's one
outlets.
incident. That's one incident. So if you're gonna come in, I don't want to be here being the same or the griot for this man to be bothering me. But Salif come in. That was the one incident. Amara case was one incident. I mean, he did it with the scholarship issue. He did, because of the fallout from, the fallout. I don't know, the blowout from the war room.
Right.
Yeah, he built on that. And then the scholarship issue came up, and then people said, no, the war room was set up by a Ghanaian guy, a professor, this and that, da, 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 da. And the scholarship were from China, and it was supposed to go to a team, not to. So.
And also the JFK, you went to JFK and say, "Hey, we've paid this," and the
Yeah,
guy said,
yeah,
"No,
he went to JFK. Okay, so but that's what I'm saying. You see a trend, one person. If three other people were saying different things, then you say there's a
no,
confusion.
nobody's saying anything. Nobody is saying
Yeah,
anything."
but okay, Dennis, that's my point. As a communication person, you have one person saying the same thing. One, he did this. B, he did this. Three, he did this. Then you say, okay, my man, what is wrong with you, man? Can't you sit down? You don't say, oh, there's a confusion. No, he's the one confused. He's the one who's confused. I don't see it in Unity Party. Nobody's confused by the job. The only two people who got job now, prospectively in Unity Party, are Boakai and Kong. And I know Moal is a spokesperson and Party's communication director. Those things have not changed. If Amara speaks out, that he's the one going in the confusion land, not the Unity Party. Not that I'm speaking for Unity Party, but I would say, if I had watched that, as a journalist, I would say, hey, this man keeps making these statements that do not go along with the party's, calendar of, what do you call it, sending out the information. Because parties have decided, they can decide, okay, we have scholarship, we're not going to publicize them until we get into government. Somebody paid for the medical fee for these guys. We'll thank them when they go home. We call, we say, okay, these are the people who pay for it. Or you got scholarship? Say, okay, this is where it's coming from. But government want to do it on its time. So the confusion is one-sided. So there's no confusion in Unity Party. There's no confusion of who's who and who's doing what.
Mr. Salif, Mr. Boakai has a history of not really getting ahead of this kind of thing when it happening. It's like he's waiting, and he's waiting. And now we want to consume this information we're getting only from Amara, who, according to Dr. Dugley, is confused. Is it something that we're going to see later on in the Boakai's government? Is it the beginning of what that form of maybe laid back or confusion, if I will put it that way?
No, I think that's just President-elect Walker's style. My observation is 2017. I was around him a little bit around that campaign. I saw his leadership style. He is very methodical. On the public side, he seems to be low energy, seems to be slow with things, but he can be very methodical. Sometimes he makes decisions, people misunderstand it. Even last time we were here, I said this, is genius. In a way, we chastise him in the press in our analysis that CPP crumbled under his watch, and the opposition was not holding together. We was going to win this thing. In a way, Barker navigated that, navigated out of it. Yes, we might say, well, as a leader, we expect this, we expect this, we expect that. And we're seeing these individuals peeling off. And so that's not a good sign on the outside. But I assume always there's strategy to it. So it could be that they're dealing with these issues inside. Look, Mr. Corner and Senator-elect Corner has a platform, I said here before, and I think he enjoys creating contents for his followers, for his platform. And I guess people look forward to those kinds of things. It may be his style. I've even seen him push back, some people who are pushing back on him and things like that. My only concern is really when I see what Senator-elect Corner is doing with his social media handles and the contents and messages he's sending, all coming out of essentially the executive, the Buckeye president-elect team. It presents a sort of constitutional, at least in the future, I'm looking at this, in Liberia, as in any country, I think if you really want to be an effective senator, sometimes you have to be a rabble rouser. Sometimes you're negotiating. You're constantly cutting back those deals in such, not in a negative sense, but negotiating and making deals so that your constituents have the best opportunities and programs and funding coming to your district, your county, and so on. And to do so, you're holding the executive's feet to the fire. You're calling, say, for example, hearings, public hearings, calling ministers to come defend the budget, to come defend some kind of decisions. So if you want to be so influential on the executive side of things during the transition, yet you are a senator, you will be sworn into office very soon as a senator. How do you can't hold how many balls will you hold in two hands? Your colleagues in the Senate may start saying, well, this guy needs to recuse himself on certain key decisions here because he's in bed with the executive. He may have influenced certain people's appointment. He may have influenced certain structure or decisions and things and so on. He made decisions in and for the executive side of things. If nothing else, it will create serious perception problem for the senator when it comes time to govern. That's kind of where I'm really thinking about how is he thinking about those things? How is he processing all of that? Does he have advisors? I believe he does. And what are they telling him? What are they processing? What's their strategy? Why are we seeing all of this? Look, because any educated, strong, competent professional, when I see you behaving in the public the way we've seen Senator-elect Corner do, I assume you have a strategy. I assume there is an explanation behind every single action you're taking. If not, then that's problematic.
I'm so happy that you put into academic terms my ramblings, because this is exactly what I wanted to say. Thank you.
And we say,
You're welcome, Professor.
and Mr. Salim, you say the end justified the means. That okay, because this was happening and Kennedy Bwaka did not say anything, but it turns out that he won. That's genius. So anytime we see some confusion and he's, I don't want to say laissez-faire, but he's laying back, that's another strategy. And we are expecting that it's going to come out good.
Look,
If
Dennis,
not,
I
that's
know
the time we're going to be able to say something.
I know some very strong people on the Bwaka side. From the campaign time from 2017 on to this recent campaign, and right now, who are moving things and shaking things and driving transition decision making from technical to strategic and legal people. They have very strong, competent teams of different subject matter areas that they're dealing with. Some of these issues we're discussing publicly that we've seen in the public square, some have been subject of strategic decision making and discussions and so on. Conversations have been had, discussions have been had around some of these things. Look, in leadership, there are many theories in leadership. We can't be academic about this. But the thing I want to say, leaders have different attributes, different styles, and they move things in their own ways. Of course, there's general expectations of any leader, any certain attributes that a leader must have, particularly at a national level, executive level. Yes, but still, I would say, it's too soon to begin to not criticize, to start to suspect, well, is this what we're going to see, that this man will be so laid back and, oh, there's a crisis. It's not a crisis level yet. I don't think so. I think it's still the excitement, the celebration over the victory. And some people may be straying a little bit, like Dr. Duplessis said, but hopefully they will rein everybody back and people will know their swim lanes, and everybody will be swimming in their own lanes. Where they need to cross over, they will cross over.
Thank you. Today was President-elect Joseph Newman Boakai's birthday, and he spent that celebrating the birthday and also doing a clean-up campaign. Let me a little bit.
Well, folks, welcome back to our transmission. This is the launching of the national cleanup campaign in Liberia.
So, what do you make of that, Doctor? I think they say they are cleaning up for the inauguration. Some say, hey, this is supposed to be the city mayor's job here, or at least involve the government. Is it something expedient or just showmanship?
It's showmanship. You don't cleaning the city is not an event. It's a process. It's an education. You learn, you teach people. I remember it was 2003 actually. I was in Moravia and Setuma was mayor. Setuma was mayor at the time, and she was on the air. Somebody was talking about, the city being dirty and all of that. She said, before the war, Moravia had 150 to 200,000 people. After the war, all of a sudden, because it was the only safe haven, you had more than 1 million people moving from the countryside or from refugee camps in the sub-region to Monrovia. And these people have never had any experience of living in an urban area. And that's a real issue. Remember the population in Moravia before the war? I mean, those who remember, and then you see it after the war. I remember even going back, 1990, 91. They were, they say what, there were 75, 80,000 people in Moravia at the time. In the whole Moravia, there were 70,000 people. And then people started coming. They came from refugee camp. They didn't want to go anywhere else because ECOMOG was in Monrovia. But they never lived in the city. In the village, you don't produce trash. So with that migration, urban migration, we never had the system to observe them socially, educationally, and say, this is how you do it. This is how you live in a city. And now we have that mess. So just calling a cleaning day, people like to clean up on the boulevard. They clean the boulevard, they clean up to Mama Point. That's the tourist cleaning type of thing. They clean the highways, people can see, or sometimes they paint walls. But I said, no, the neighborhood, go into the junk, go into the neighborhood, go see how they live. Tell them, no, you're not supposed to do this because you can get your child health, sick. So we don't clean up. This is just nothing. It's really nothing. I mean, you mobilize a city to clean up itself every single day, not because you have an inauguration. You had a mayor who spent his time, doing what? TV reports and making speeches that nobody could understand and threatening to bring war and all of that. And he wasn't doing his job. And that's what I always say, Joshua, if you really love Monrovia, I don't think you would put, this young man as mayor of the city. No, you don't do that. When you love your baby, you don't give it to irresponsible people. And that's what happened.
So, Mr. Salif, again, I spoke to somebody in Monrovia and said this was a breath of fresh air. That people are coming now to say, hey, let's clean the city. But then when I spoke to someone else, said this is pure showmanship. Because after today, what next? Is he going to be cleaning now until every day? He's going to be in that red suit. What you make of? And I call this another transition activity. You're muted. On mute, please.
No, it's not showmanship. You have to connect with the people who just elected you, who are excited about a new day, who want to do something. My understanding from media reports is, I didn't speak to any official on this, is that there's a volunteer group. There's a group that spontaneously emerged and said, we want to clean Pinsville. You know, this is where the president-elect lives. His birthday is coming, inauguration is coming, and then they extended to, oh, we want to clean Monrovia because inauguration is coming. All right. And I think if you inculcate sort of a culture of, it's good to clean. Some countries, for example, we always use Rwanda as an example, right? And this is what I read about. I read about this country. They have a national cleaning day. They have days where even the president is walking the street picking trash and leading people. Jerry Rawlings did that kind of sort of thing when he came to office in Ghana. He's jumping in the gutter. He's in military boot and he's cleaning the gutter and everything. Yeah, they have city mayor of Accra. They have city mayor of Kigali and other cities that do that. So sometimes it's ceremonials.
For 6 years, we had that in Moravia. We had cleaning day every first Saturday. People could not even open their shops. Everybody was in the street cleaning.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, there's a Saturday, whatever, I think it was alternating Saturday, where you don't open your shop till certain 11 o'clock or midday because it's cleaning weekend and things like that. That's something to be encouraged because, Dr. Dukla, to your point, the population we have in the city, majority came from rural parts and they had not really experienced urban life and these kinds of things. So education around sanitation.
You guys gonna blame us from the villages for the dirt in the city?
No, we're not blaming. No, I mean, listen, I'm a village boy myself. That I'm not here to.
I blame you, country boys coming to the city again.
Dr. Dukla says that we came to the city and dirted the place. But I'm saying, if you want to educate people, what do? You have to lead by example and sort of show something. This is the season, inauguration time, birthday time. For those who celebrate Christmas, is also that season. It's a festive time in the country. People have a lot of energy. So you got to tap into some of that. Here we are saying, well, the transition is all paperwork. They don't have to see it. You don't have to make statement. They don't. What do? These people have this zest and energy, Dennis. Someone comes up with the idea. The president-elect is not going to say, no, that's not my job, the city mayor.
No, for the president-elect, it's a good initiative to do it. But I'm just saying, cleaning the city has to have a system.
Right. I agree. It's
systematic. Yeah, you have to have a system. You have to systematic and sustainable. You don't have a sustainable system.
It's not like Zanzan Kawas, it says, quick impact. It's not quick impact. It's not some spasmodic thing. Let's just clean today.
But when you link at it also, I remember 2005, Gonglo came back. We went back, we're in Moravia. Gonglo called, all the boys in the neighborhood. And there was a big field. He said, let's clean this, place here. The boys say, oh, yeah, we come tomorrow, Saturday. They all came with a, machete and stuff. And they cleaned the whole field. And they put goalposts on it. And they start playing football. At the end of the day, they went to go and say, but who's going to pay us now? He said, what? For cleaning your own field? And now you have a football field instead of going all the way down the road to go play. Now you clean. That was my idea. Gonglo said, you want me to pay you? And they say, oh, we know some NGO asked you to do it because you're coming from America all the time. So it's the
mindset. It's the mindset.
Yeah.
We have to,
And so how do we sustain this now? Day one is gone. We clean up.
Well, you got to urbanize those country people who came to the city.
That is not true. That's
you have to urbanize them. You have to urbanize them. You have to. You have to go into people. You have to make movies, put on TV. Tell them. Mosquito. Your child cannot get mosquito. Child get malaria from mosquito bite. Mosquito come from the water you throw right here in your yard. That's all you have to do.
Thank you. Let's remember now in arrest, we have S for sanitation. So we're going to
Yeah.
be focused on this S, which
It's
started today.
education. It's education. It's not quick impact thing. It's education. You got urbanize this new population that move into Monrovia.
Right. And that population, even if they are urbanized, they're still going to make dirt, right?
Yeah, but they know how to dispose of it. The problem is
Yeah,
how
but
to
there is no
dispose of the
structure,
dirt.
there is no process of disposing. I don't see garbage can put somewhere, or we have someone who's going to collect it and get paid for it. So I
It
don't
can
think
be,
there's
it
people
can be
coming from the
done.
interior.
Yeah, but don't be that desperate. They can do it here. We can do that too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined it, this is Tough Talking Thursday, and we're a little tough on the transitional team here, making sure that we have a total break from the past. That leads us to our next topic, which is asset declaration. And I like how we've been talking about audit and all that. And one of the things we spoke about on this show is, hey, to really ensure and tell people that you're credible, let's start with you, Mr. Buakai, and your group declaring your asset. Well, the LACC make it short for us. They say to uh, to fall from the top of the tree is a sure way of getting down. So instead of you going, from step eight, when you fall down from there, now that's a shortcut to getting down. So the LACC made it short for us. They want a declaration, or the exit declaration of asset notice will require a comprehensive list encompassing properties, financial holdings, investment, and other relevant financial interests. So the LACC hereby issued a public notice to all outgoing officials to declare their assets by filling an asset declaration form with the LACC no later than Tuesday, December 12th. It says public official must declare income, assets, and liabilities at specific intervals prior to taking office at the end of every 3 years on promotion or progression from one level to the other, upon transfer to another public office, and upon retirement or resignation, to ensuring a transparent and accountable government framework. So the LSC making sure for us to say those going out should declare their assets, liabilities, and interests, and also incoming officials to do that. Mr. Salih, what's the LSCC up to? Is this their normal operation?
It's in the constitutive act. I'm muting. Yeah, no, it's in the scope of work. But the thing is, when the we administration came to office, they all refused to declare assets. Dennis, this is the law that the LSCC is preaching to them now. Certain intervals are stipulated in the act. Uh, but it never happened in the beginning. They never nobody, including the president. It's never. I stand to be corrected, but I don't think he's declared his assets.
He declared, but didn't publish. That's what it
Yeah,
said.
didn't publish. I mean, what kind of declaration of asset is that? The whole purpose is that for transparency, so people know how much you worth when you came to office, what liabilities you had, what holdings, and so forth and so on. While in office, certain intervals are stipulated in the LSCC purview there. You declare again, so we know if you earn or you have accrued certain dividends on certain investments or private holdings you may be having, and so that we also know how much you earn, the total remuneration from the public coffers. We know that by law, and so you declare your asset. We're able to quickly calculate to know if you acquire certain wealth and affluence overnight or a period of 6 months, a year. We want to know the source or sources of the affluence, the particular petulance lifestyle that you may be living. That's the whole purpose, to protect the public, to protect public resources for public officials who are serving so that they don't engage in corrupt acts that are detrimental to the citizenry, because it really can be. I mean, if you engage in plunder and thievery and waste, people don't get an education, pregnant women die, young children don't get vaccinated, all kinds of bad things happen. People will talk about it. Some people say corruption is a farce, it's now real, and you guys just yelling about corruption. So there's a reason for that law that you must declare your assets. The outgoing administration, just like we were talking about in the transition context, where you do hand over notes to verify government asset and everything, the LACC is taking it to a different level, saying we actually, if you follow the law, we want you to declare your asset now so we can compare to what we had before your departure. That way we know if there's any property in your name or any accounts or some kind of, we can say, oh, explain this is not explainable. It was not in the asset that you declared. You declared with the LACC. So that's the good thing. Incoming officials as well. I imagine, I suspect we will see this kind of letter or request from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We can hear you then.
The story is told of a man who was a very bad and mean to his wife, right? So he went to a therapist to learn how to behave. He said, I myself, I know now, I mean, I know I've been very bad, so help me. So they advise him, okay, today when you're going home, buy a bouquet of flower, take it to the wife and all that, right? And then while they were home, this wife, Junior Boy, was misbehaving. I mean, it was just bad. So she was frustrated. So in the evening, the man came from home with the flowers, and then he rang the doorbell. When the wife opened opened the door, he saw the man with flower. She burst out and started crying. He said, all day, Junior Boy gave me a hard time. In fact, if the toilet is running, all the housework. Now you're coming home drunk.
Yeah, because she knows him coming with flowers before. So
I think
The
that
LACC coming home drunk here?
I think that summarizes this whole thing about LACC
yeah.
asking people to declare. I mean, you can ask what is your constitutional duty, but is LACC credible? Isn't that the LCC that George Weah pushed on the in the through of the legislature, but a month before the elections, and they want to certify them? Isn't that Bible still on that commission? The guy who was indicted by the same LCC. So how you trust a judge that is not credible? And you're talking about, how you want to ask George Weah to declare his artist? He didn't. He declared. He didn't publish it, but he lied. Because he lied to the U.S. government when he went to court about his, child support. How are you going to ask Mr. McGill, who was living in one bedroom, etc., and then build a mausoleum for his dead mom with electricity and everything?
And Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Yes. So how are you going to ask a man like that to declare what? Why are you going to declare? The man didn't have gas money 6 years ago. Now he got mausoleum for his dead mom with electricity 24 hours a day. So LSC is just joking.
So
I think it's up. I think Boakai will do that. I think Boakai government. I remember in the Salif government, many people were suspended at one point because they didn't declare the assets, including Fumba Salif and other people. So they had to do it, and I think Boakai will follow suit. If he doesn't, well, we must remind him. We must all remind him that he has to do it. But Joshua click, he didn't want to do it. They didn't do it when they kept going in. Why they didn't do it when they were going in? Because they knew they could not declare what they have at the end of the tenure. That's why they didn't declare it, because they didn't have anything to declare.
So according to the law, they should declare the.
Yeah, but I know the law. We're being romantic.
Hold on, Dr. Ducklet, because I'm getting somewhere. They should declare at specific intervals prior to taking office at the end of every 3 years on promotion, on resignation, and all that. But we saw Bill Twawe and Nathaniel McGill when they left. I don't believe they did. But here's a clause. I don't know if that one is hampering this. They said the process is guided by the new law the new LACC Act of 2022 underscore confidentiality while necessitating accuracy and compliance with legal standards. Is that a confidentiality that, hey, just tell us, we don't tell anybody?
Yeah.
Mm.
They wrote that for themselves. It's to protect themselves.
So because none of these people that change job, we never heard.
No, you will never get it from CDC. Why are you wasting your time? LACC will not do it. These are the hand-picked people to make sure that nobody goes after them after they leave power. Why do you think they appointed them 3-4 months before the elections? It was not by chance. The LACC that made investigation, conducted investigation, indicted people, was dismissed to put these people in place. And we shouldn't even be dealing with them. I mean, by law, they have tenure, but I don't think they should be there. This is like, Supreme Court appointment at the last minute. You can't change them, but, who you talking to? These guys who've been selected to say, okay, we're going out, we're going to put you in there, and you're not going after us, because that's the word. You can't do it. Otherwise, they could have left the old team there and said the new government, or if we renew, if we get re-elected, then we do the change. But they did it a month before the elections. Come on, this is a joke. And I don't think LACC should be taken seriously, especially if Bible, who was inducted by the same commission, is still there. What are they going to declare? These guys were all broke, and they went in there all now millionaires. It's not hidden. It's daylight. Robbery. People see it every day.
Mr. Salif, what's your take and what will Buckeye do? Because I think it's kind of trying to challenge him to come in now is, hey, we want everybody to declare their asset.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, like I said, maybe asking asset declaration is really entry asset declaration that they're aiming at here. And that's fine because that's the law. If you have a credible graft institution as the LACC should be, yeah, Dr. Ducre is right, but the characters are questionable. In fact, the former chair of that commission went to court or something like that, that the whole process was illegal. He had tenure and they just kicked him out and brought new people, and the legislature swept them in office. And, so they haven't won our trust. We haven't, you can, like Dr. Ducre said, and they're not credible. So it's difficult to see how would they really do a transparent and fair job when they themselves, the way they came to office, and some of the commission members themselves were implicated in alleged corrupt scandals that never really, they didn't really sort of clear their names convincingly for people to say this was just some political baseless allegations. Those allegations are still there. So I would think that, President Buakai should revisit the LACC to look at the tenure, those who are there, those whose time are up and things like that, reconstitute where possible, people tenures are up, reconstitute with credible individuals, and those people hold them accountable so that the commission can have teeth to really prosecute people. I mean, like they have in Sierra Leone, the guy Cargo is going after people. He's serious about it. He has security protection 24/7 because people threatening to take his life. And that has really helped. My understanding is that has really helped the Sierra Leonean government. They recover assets. It's cut down, some thief rate and plundering of the public resources. So those integrity institutions that were put in place during President Salif's time, they did so for good reason. I mean, because if you want, as a country that just came out of war at that time, they're still struggling, very fragile, very much. You don't even have up to $1 billion now national budget. Then you have a bloated wage bill. Then you have I don't know even how to describe the kind of expenditure that's ahead of this government. If you want to do serious capital investment, investing in infrastructure, road, energy, and things like that, agricultural sector, you don't have the money to do that on your own. Therefore, you depend on aid because, your whole budget is about paying people, giving them benefits, buying new cars and things like that, and then people are stealing openly. You know, those are the challenges. If you want to really be a serious government, you want to do well by the Liberian people, you got to tighten some of those loopholes. Uh, Prosecute people, put big high ups in jails. Then people will fall in line. They will know you're not supposed to come here to steal. If you come to public sector, you must really truly come for the sake of public service. This is not a place you come and become wealthy.
Thank you. And someone who is on the Boakai team, John Molu, is talking, right? Uh, he's been talking either privately and publicly, and some of these have come out. Like he said, hey, uh, it, he said he pointed out a list of few of initiatives that need to be investigated because he's trying to get ahead. So I'm saying is it because this thing's coming out from John Molu? He was the guy who made charged the government of being 3 times corrupt. So is it the LAC trying to get ahead of Molu? Because he pointed out few things, initiatives that he said should be audited. Number one, we have Small Business Throughput Development Fund. James Colley managed Finance Ministry's Private Sector Development Initiative. The Rawa L. Johnson's $30 million direct investment. The Mayo Jones, that's the poverty doctor, 5 million loan scheme managed by Foreign Minister Maxwell Kimia. The NASCO loan scheme documented in the Knuckles scandal by Professor Dunn. So John Molu is talking. John is very active. Do you think this? Where do you think this is going? And now we today we saw Ellis, or yesterday we saw LACC say, "Hey, this is what we're going to do."
Well, I think John Molu, as a former auditor, has his files, and he left GAC. A lot of people still, very close to him, and I'm sure he has some information, but I'm not sure what his intention is. In what capacity is he speaking? He was consultant for fundraiser.
Right.
Again, you come back to this issue of Amorakone. In what capacity are you speaking? This is a government policy, or are you saying if these are not on the book, I will not join the government?
So he had those agreements.
Huh?
Before joining, he said those were the things that he put forward. And
yeah, but he put them forward as what? As somebody who's looking for a job? As somebody who is offered a job?
No, somebody who helped President-elect Bouaka needed at that time. And so those were his conditions.
That Bouaka asked him to do a job.
Yeah, you say I will join and to support your campaign on these conditions, assuming you win. If and when you win, these are things that you must go after because I have probable reason to believe this bad things happen in these places. So these are major areas that is named. I don't know if they came from John Molu directly or not. And let's remind you now, we all have our constitutional rights to speech. You can write something. I've written something. I put on my Facebook page, and they say, "Oh, these are a few points consider." And this happened, that happened, right? So we're still private citizens. You can speak, that's fine. But if you say I'm speaking in my capacity as such and such, then we'll put it under the microscope. But the Mills Jones loan scheme, everybody said that was something that was totally wrong. Some people say, "Oh man, this man's a poverty doctor. He's taking the country's money, distributing it to poor people. Therefore, that's good." But that was not the law. That was not his government structure. He was doing it in his own name. And some of these things that Molu has named, these were loan schemes that were supposed to help certain poor people in the country in ways that it didn't. It benefited individuals who were already well off because they have power, their friends, allegedly, according to media reports, some people even admitted to some of these things. So they're out there. Molu, a former auditor general of Liberia, if he spoke and released that list, I assume that he has evidence of some sort, or he has something that is leading him to believe that these particular loans and incidents that he's reporting are things to look into, to set a good example going forward, so that when you develop a scheme to benefit people, it truly has to benefit people. You don't just set it up so that you distribute it to yourself and your friends.
I don't think I don't have any problem with, the list. I'm just saying, in what capacity is he speaking? I didn't know he put a list before he was asked to join the team. Because I have not seen it. This is my first time hearing about it, and I have not seen it. So yeah, you can, as a citizen of Liberia, he has the right to do it. As Auditor General, he has his filters. He has people who probably feel, just what I said. I say he has the right to do that. But I wanted to know, in what capacity was he doing it? Was he doing it because Boakai asked him to do a job? But now I'm being told that this is what he put forward before he joined the campaign.
That's what I heard too. Now,
Yeah,
on a strong
but
authority.
if you put it forward and then join the campaign, they say every campaign promise stop at the inauguration.
Yes.
Every campaign promise stop at inauguration. After that, you may not have access to the president.
That's true. And this is not authoritative. These are things that
No, you say, yeah, he brought them up. I'm sure there are files on these things. I'm sure a lot of these things have been investigated. A GSC did some of it. I think he wanted to recover the files because they've been investigated. He did the investigation. Molu wants to bring those files back. He wants to bring them out because he was there when it happened. He was the one who investigated most of them. So he knows what is in there. So I'm not against the fact that he talked about it, but I wanted to know in what capacity he made that declaration. But now that I know he knew before Boakai became president-elect, well, all promises stop at inauguration.
Well, let's right at the stance, as you said, we only have Joseph Boakai and Jeremiah Cohn, nobody else, right? So when you say in what capacity, what are you looking for?
No, I thought somebody had said, no, if before I knew that he did this before joining the campaign team, I thought this was something that came up yesterday or today.
Yeah,
and that somebody had, proposed a job to him and said, I will not join the team unless this happens. But now that he did it before joining the campaign, well, I say, hey, promises stop at the inauguration. Anybody can promise you anything.
So looking at all these, let's look ahead a little bit. But before that, let me announce that if you want to join the conversation, please call 605-313-6004. The code is 791403#. Again, 605-313-6004. The code is 791403#. This is Tough Talking Thursday, and we are talking transition and asset declaration. So let's look ahead a little bit, right? Based on everything we've said so far, we have less than 2 months to inauguration. What do we see? Looking forward into a Boakai government. I know we spoke also about yes, these are the things that Boakai is supposed to do in this transitional period. The last time there was so much confusion. Oh, the president paved this kilometer. What do we expect from a Boakai government starting right after inauguration? Supposed to hit the ground running because the expectations are high. And let me also bring in this statement, which I think makes sense when to manage expectations. Expectations are very high, and for good reason. Should we actually manage our expectations when it comes to what Boakai and Jeremiah Cohn, their government, going to achieve? Because there's a lot that is expected from this government. Should we manage our expectations, Mr. Salif?
Why should we manage our expectations? You ran for office on campaign, you made promises. Now Dr. Duke is saying that inauguration campaign promises stop there. You know, you're a senior brother. I wouldn't. I come to you all the time to consult. So you can't tell your teacher in the public, teacher, that line is not correct. You got.
It's not
I'm
correct,
not
but
saying.
it is the truth. How many promises George were kept?
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, listen. You ran on a particular platform. You had a program that you promised the citizens, based upon which you acquired a mandate that you acquire. Your job is to deliver on those commitments. Your job is to deliver on those expectations. Now I can understand when people say, look, maybe there's a lot of damage that has been done to the country. It will take time for things to pick up, for this government to really begin to do things that people will feel a good, better signs in their pocketbooks and in their lives, in their children's lives. I understand that, you know. Uh, you can urge patience, but you can't ask people to manage their expectations, because your job is to deliver on those expectations. You raise the expectations, you inspire them, and they voted you. They came in, though it was a competitive election in the end between the two top candidates, but Mr. Buckeye prevailed, and that was because people believed he would be a better government. He will be a better president. He will assemble a better government, a better cabinet, more qualified, competent, experienced people. We hope that's why it will be. It will be diverse. It will be people who really know what they're doing. Nothing is perfect. Nowhere in the world. No government does it all. No government delivers on all the promises. But governments do meet people's expectations. Effective, high-performing governments do meet expectations. So
But we have to be realistic, Mr. Salif.
I
I mean,
understand.
see
And
where the country is.
I've thrown that in there, Dennis. I said, look, maybe that every statement that's issued is in context. So I'm, as a critical thinker, I'm very much aware of that. I don't take statements on face value. I said to you here earlier, when somebody releases a statement or does a post or whatever, I don't just take it on face value. I say maybe there's strategy behind it. What's the other side of this? Where is this coming from? What's the context in which they are speaking? Are we reading too much into things? Maybe it was just a trivia. Now it's gotten legs, it's moving all around. I understand all of that, Dennis. But I'm saying you ran a campaign, you promised people, you said, look, we will be a better government. This would not, this you just said in the beginning of the show. New day. This is a new day. There's a new dawn, right? When Ronald Reagan came in America here, what did he say? A shining city on the hill, whatever. I don't remember the exact cliche, but the idea was we will be better. There's a North Star here. Okay. So what do? You will not provide everything from day one, but let the people see that their country is back once again. Their country, the economy will be in a better place. It will be for the ordinary people that they can actually send their kids to school. They can go to hospital. The hospitals will be improved, so people don't have to be flying around looking for money, donors to somebody is sick, take them to Ghana, take them to this other country to better those other people's economies and their trained professionals to no. We have to do it in Liberia, and to do so, you are meeting expectations because you made a commitment. Now you can't start, you haven't even had inauguration yet, and start urging to manage expectations. What kind of manage expectations? You can ask people to be patient, to form the government, to put programs in place for things to pick up. You can say President Salif did that and say, look, we picked this country from a pariah state. 2005, 2006, they came to office and said, look where we're picking the country from. First, we have to do this and do that and do that. Establish these integrity institutions, put in policies and structures, attract people to come to the country to demonstrate that the country is safe again. People can invest in the country. Liberia is open for business again. That's what Salif said then, right? And by doing so, she was inspiring the people, instilling hope into them, and meeting her commitment to them.
Right.
She didn't ask them to manage expectations, although she said, We pick it from a difficult place. Baka may be picking it from a difficult place, but President Baka, when he becomes president and gets inaugurated, will have the responsibility. His government, his administration will have the responsibility to work hard to meet the expectations of the Liberian people because he made those commitments.
Dr. Dukley.
He will.
I don't know what to respond to. No, I'm not responding to. I'm not sure how to react to that question because the issue is not. It's not clear. You know, when you say, I remember one word that's we use, Madam Salif used a few times, expectation gap. She went to a development conference. I remember it was in Sweden, and she said one of the problems I have to deal with is the expectation gap because we took the country over in a dire situation, and then we tried everything. But in the campaign, we did promise a lot of things, and people are expecting us. They expect more than we can deliver, and there is big expectation gap, and that's what she was always concerned about. So she was aware of that. And I think Buckeye was also part of that administration, so he knows. When Buckeye says no car will be in the mud in 100 years after my, you don't have to be, high school graduate or whatever to know that isn't will happen.
No, it's dry season, so it's right.
Yeah, 100 days, yeah. That's what I've told today. I said, yeah, up to May, April, the dry season. So car will not be in the mud. But come July.
Because there will be no mud.
Yeah, come July, August, September, then you know. So when I say campaign promises stop at the inauguration, that's because once you made the inauguration, you become president. The big ideas are there, but the daily issues, you come down to the nitty-gritty things. You never imagine what they do on the first day of president. Not that I was always there, but I've seen the first week that all these big philosophical ideas and all of that, everything goes down to this road, this accident, this woman,
Dr. Duke,
this ministry. So to even catch up, unless you have, somebody who's really focused on those issues, you get caught up in details of trying to resolve daily issues. And that's what's happening with governments. And they lose sight, they're sidetracked from whatever agenda they had because they have so many priorities, emergencies that you have to resolve every single day. Because that's, in the case of Liberia, that's what you do as a president. You are like town chief.
But here's the case with President-elect Bouaka, because he was there. He's the elderly statesman. He had the experience. Some say 40 years in government. He's been in the executive mansion for 12 years. He's coming and calling his team rescue team. So if I look at rescue, someone who's drowning needs to be rescued, cannot have patience, cannot manage expectations, cannot lower expectations, and cannot wait. We want it now because you have to rescue, right? Was that a
but then I'll say
rescue thing?
Yeah, I'll say okay. So you can be patient. You don't want to lower your expectation. So what?
So you lied to us.
No, I thought what I could do. I promise you what I thought I could do. If you give me time to do it, I'll do it. Like Joshua said, give me 6 more years and I'll complete what I started doing. So, that's
the problem with politicians.
I'm just saying that, I'm not trying to be, cynical or Machiavellian in this thing. I'm just trying to say governance issues, once you get into the office, are different from campaign promises.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally different. And how you approach problems are not the same as a candidate. Candidate, you don't have the chance to call a minister and say, oh, go do this. You cannot call an advisor, go do this. But as a president, you can do it. But as a president, you are also held accountable. You can be booed out of office.
Mr. Salif, is this the beginning of making excuses for Bouaka?
Dennis, there's a saying that you campaign in prose and you govern in poetry.
Yeah.
That's really? What. Yes, you campaign in prose, so it's clear. Everybody hears it and know this. You got a message. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. But once you get there, you start governing. The burdens of governance hits you hard. Where rubber meets the road. That's what Dr. Tukla is saying. I get that. There's a lot of details that any government anywhere in the world, along the way, there will be controversies, there will be crises, there will be shocks that will set you back. But if you have a disciplined administration, you have clear programs, clear priorities, this will be short term, medium term, long term, clearly communicated. You have an effective communication arms of government. This whole expectation thing, when President Sirleaf spoke about expectation gaps, and essentially I think what I hear in that is, look, here's how much resources we have to deliver on this huge insurmountable burdens and tasks we have ahead of us. Look at the country where we pick it from. And people expect that things will be here, but it will take us this to get there, that kind of thing. That's that, in a way, yeah, you're saying, look, we, the government, we are managing the people's expectations, but the people don't have to manage their own expectations. In a way, you're delivering here, you're doing this, they're seeing this effort. These people are smart people. The areas that you touch, the basic commodities, basic things that get people going, so that and then jobs and things like that. People get, the civil servants receiving, private sector, you have investors coming, hopefully. Those kinds of things will spur economic growth. There will be money in the economy. Some things will start happening. It will ease things off of the government a little bit to give them some breathing room to work and govern. That's what I mean by you governing poetry, because there'll be many different ways to move things around. You have challenges that you didn't expect, there'll be shock and so on. So I don't know if it's excuses that Dr. Dukla is making. I
But
think
now
it's
you are
just
agreeing with Amarat now, right?
No, I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that governance, the practice of governance is totally different from the campaign promises. I would say, okay.
That's a justification for not doing what you.
No. It's not. I'm not I'm taking about the reality. I'm just saying. Have you seen Trump war?
What war?
Trump, his Mexican war, pay for the Mexican. No, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying Boakai should do this or should not do that. When they say manage the expectation, I'm just saying people have to get used to the fact that it's not going to happen the way it was promised. Like he said, 100 days, no car trapped in the mud. It's not going to happen in Liberia. That's the country we know. Cow get trapped in right in Cinco. You don't got to go to Nimba or Granger to find it. It's right in Cinco. You can't get trapped in the mud. So I'm just saying, you have either they say it or not, either they demand it or not. Boakai campaign knows people will have to manage their expectations. They know there will be no serious investor in the next 6 months or 7 months. There's not going to be no capital flow. The only thing they can expect is if by chance the U.S. decide to give money, the $500 million for the MCC that CDC won, and maybe they get that money, they can use it to do something. But if you no new money in the next year or 18 months, it's going to take a lot of time for Boakai to assert himself, to set himself as a government, to get credibility, to appeal to people, and then to travel, to walk around, and to bring people in. And that's not going to happen in the next 6 months. It's not going to happen in the first year. You're taking about 18 months. People say, okay, this man is serious. This is a serious government. So if people can't live with that and learn new lessons to adapt to that new republic, then we have a problem. I'm not making excuses for Boakai. I just know what's happening. I was there. 1990, I was there when we tried to re-jump the country. 2005, I was there when we tried to re-jump the country. I know what happens. So I'm not just talking out of blue or books or something. No, this is what happened. 18 months, Boakai will not have any new money, nowhere. And there'll be no investor.
Thank you. I know, Dr. Mr. Sally, that looks like it scared you. Well, let me bring in my first caller here. My first caller is Mr. Nambi. The American will say Nambi. Dave Victor Nambi. Go ahead, you're live.
Hello, Mr. John, and hello, fellows. Great show tonight. You know, I honestly really agree with you all. I don't understand what managed expectation means. The president-elect was vice president.
Yeah. Don't expect what we promise you. Don't expect what we said we're going to do. Don't expect that we're going to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't understand that. And he's not just a candidate. He is a former vice president. So he's been pretty close to the seat of the presidency. He knows how government runs. So he knew about all this, and he made the campaign promises that he made. And so now for us to be told to manage expectation, to me, really, I think it's disingenuous. I don't think so. Talking about the audit and, you know, the asset declaration, I absolutely agree. I mean, I have said this on the show, as are pretty much all of us. I think as you come in government, you should declare to the people where you are in terms of your assets, your liabilities, so that when you leave, we will compare your entry and your exit acquisitions, whatever it is. And that will give us an idea of how you conducted yourself in government. I think it's fair enough. And it shouldn't be an issue for debate. We should. I hope this government will not think for a minute and encourage all of the actors who will be coming in government to declare their assets. I think they should also audit the outgoing officers of government, not just the financial audit, but a forensic audit, because, you know, we've heard these stories of you know, these fabulous estates being built by some of the government functionaries. You know, we also know that people, Liberians, were fond of abusing our power. You know, we use our power to do all kinds of, so all of those things. I think they should be audited, because that is how, when you come in government to serve, that is how you will be guided. So you will know that, look, when I'm leaving here, or when I leave here, someone's going to come after me and they will take stock of my behavior. So all in all, great show tonight. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate the tune, the conversation is taking. I don't think managed expectation is something that we should be hearing from this government. And I hope, you know, I hope they will drop that song and drop it pretty quickly. I am also kind of concerned as to why is it up to this time we haven't started hearing, you know, the needs of those who are serving government. It's not like this. I mean, come on. This vice president was in opposition for a very long time. He has an idea of the people who he wants to work with. You know, we need to begin to have an idea of who is coming in government, so that people can begin to come out and tell the people who these people really are, because this will help with whatever audit that will be carried out. So again, thank you ever so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and good luck to you guys.
And,
Great job.
And Victor, before you go, what do you make of LACC announcement of exit and entry asset declaration?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, and I also appreciate what you guys mentioned earlier of the periodic of you know, audit, you know, intervals of audit. I think that is a good thing as well.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for calling. Let me
Thank you very much, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you. Let me welcome Flomo Livingston.
Yeah, I mean, great show for me. Thanks. I mean, look, the audit by support the outgoing government to be audited, and the incoming government, they should declare their assets before they can work in the government. I support that 100%. For the LACC, why are they coming on now? They've been there for 6 years. Why they haven't been championing all this? Why it's just why now are they trying to do this? That's my question I want to ask. And why would they, confirm the 4 LACC data that the law said they 2 persons should not come from the same county, and 2 came from, I believe, Riverside or River G, and 2 came from Montserrat, and they were confirmed. So why were they confirmed? Did they declare their answers before they asked other people to declare their answers? No, we'll have to ask all that question. Hopefully they did, but it's a good thing. So hopefully all the guys can declare all the answers before they can leave, so we can know. And the transitional thing, I think they're doing that job. They don't have to come out and tell how it's going, because to me it's not a government, it's just a transitional thing. And JMB, I don't know what people keep saying, manage your expectation. Who said that? And I've been listening to JMB, I never hear him say anything like that. It's just coming from other people, and we're running with it. JMB did not say that. I said to be corrected. If anyone can tell me or show me where JMB said that.
Right, but we're not listening to JMB alone. JMB was not in the war room. JMB was not at the polling centers, right, doing poll watching. So it's not JMB alone, right? You agree?
I agree, but my point is, it has to. When you say about we should manage our expectation, did it come from the president-elect office, or it came from other people?
It came from other people, but they have to opinion of Boga.
I don't want
to. Because I've been finding Boga. I haven't heard for him or for his office that he said it. It just came.
The first time I heard it was from Fagon. Oh, he said today at an event.
According to Sam Wallow, that Boga said it today at an event. I don't know.
I totally disagree when you're addressing the people when they're cleaning up the city. That's not what he said.
All right.
And that's what I'm we're talking about. I listened to that speech. He didn't say we should manage our expectation. He talked about working together, coming together to move the country forward. That's what he said.
But he didn't correct it either.
But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe nobody told him.
Well,
no, but the first time
Dennis, for me, I don't want us to jump ahead. That when he gained the power, then from there.
How long should we wait for?
Right now, I'm not going to go.
Yeah, we keep waiting. He was there for 12 years.
You waited 6 years. You wait till January 22nd, my man. Come on, you go nowhere.
So we should be patient. Because rescue when you're in danger.
To be true. I agree. I expected criticism. I want you guys to criticize the incoming government. I expected that. But for now, you can't say, oh, he didn't say manage your expectation. That's what I'm saying. I've been following him throughout. His messages, I never hear him saying we should manage our expectation. That's what I'm trying to say. Who said it? So, until he can say it for his office, then I will believe it. But apart from that, it just I don't go by it until it comes from him himself or from the president-elect office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Salim, maybe that's part of the problem because nobody is clarifying, right? Maybe you should come and say, "Hey, I heard somebody say manage your expectation, but no, we're going to deliver."
Dennis,
right?
We're in its Facebook age. This is Facebook mass media, new media era. Will you respond to every single day? I post something. Somebody posts something. You post something.
Well, it's the same Facebook that you were using to be winning, and you're getting all the cheers.
No, but I think
but to your point, on a serious note, yes. What I'm hearing you ask, if I can reframe, is, okay. So the communication team, the public relations team, you need to ensure that the image is intact. You need to exude certain confidence, and the people being seen, the excitement, that kind of thing. And so such a public relations machine will be on top of all kinds of messaging that may attempt to derail any, to deflate any air that is in the celebratory mood right now. That's why they're supposed to be doing that. But then we'll say, well, we only have one government right now, one president, one administration. So yeah, we're balancing two things. We can't have it.
Yeah, and I agree. Let me break him up next caller here, but I agree. But the same Amara Conan, when he was announcing these results, telling us, hey, we want Basa, we want this, we want Lofa. Everybody was excited, especially from the UP cycle. The same Amara come and say manage expectations. No. We don't want to listen to you on this one. On the numbers part, yes, you're a genius. You are the Steve Jobs. But when it comes to this one, no, you are a loose cannon.
But Dennis, I'm sorry. Before I get into myself in that discussion, because these are all like hearsay thing or media, not media, but Facebook. As
right, it was the same Facebook that were announcing the result, and you were happy.
But no. But
that's all your thought. Let me bring you one caller events on for long, and then we can pick up from there. Tubman, go ahead.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you so much for the show, and Dr. Duke, Mr. Saravia, thank you so much. Very good points. That manage your expectation, it reminds me of something. We have seen these movies before. It's not the first time, like Dr. Duke said. I mean, it's just replaying itself. And I remember during Dr. Sawyer's time, and he used a word, and many librarians were wondering what he meant. He said political rhetoric. And one of the gentlemen asked him, what you meant? He said, well, political rhetoric, when he defined it, he said, these are, political promise words that succeed, promises that fail. So during election time, people make promises. Tell you, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. And those words get them to be elected. But when it comes to do the work, in reality, all those promises fail. So we see this. So it's not something strange. Librarians, people should know. We hope for the better. Like me, I'm hoping that things go well, but my expectation is not high, right? Because I know the president.
Because you manage your expectation. Is that why?
Well, I'm not I'm not managing my expectation, but I don't expect anything to come out of that. Because we have seen this before, and there's no new faces over there. There's the same old people. It's just been just a new, different name now. So the same old people. They've been part of the government for time immemorial. So nothing new. So we just hope that everything goes well for the people. That's all. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. You're saying that's 01 in new bottle. Let me get my last caller here. 404 Iroko, your name and where you calling from?
Hey, my name is Fred. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Fred, welcome.
Thanks, a long time, man. I'm happy for your platform. You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm from Kenya, but I follow Liberian politics and events.
Okay.
And I wanted to actually also chip in and share my thoughts.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So actually, after looking at the way the campaign was done, I followed the debates, and Africa is very happy with Liberia. People are very excited about how the elections was conducted and how actually George were considered. That's how democracy is. If you win, somebody needs to congratulate you and support you. So people are very happy with what happened in Liberia. Now democracy is growing. After our people in Liberia went through hell for almost 30 years. So what we wanted to say is that there is nothing magic that is going to happen because we just had elections in Kenya about a year and maybe 4 months ago. We had elections last year, August. So we have a new government that had promised people heaven, and now they are delivering hell in Kenya. We are the worst ever since independence. So this thing of promises, I've seen it in my own country. So I wanted to advise Liberians don't expect too much. Why? Because you are not going to get, some magical happening, and then we have factories, tourism, and everything will change it like tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Your best bet is if the new president can bring people that are less greedy, people that are not corrupt, then you can actually expect some changes. But another thing I wanted to also say, I know a lot of people are actually posting and commenting and counting, George Weah. People shouldn't go after them. Let go and let live. So what's going to happen is actually what exactly happened in Kenya, where the new president and his team came and they wanted to actually be vengeful to the previous government, like harassing them, threatening them. That will actually kill that economy even more. So I hope President Boakai doesn't, go with the supporters who are excited and you start chasing the George Weah administration, like trying to arrest them and, trying to threaten and hurting their investments. So just something I wanted to share, and I wish the new president, a good time. He's old, but I hope he gets a very good team to support him. I pray for Liberia. I pray for peace in Liberia so that, we can actually, transform our people.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. We really appreciate your call.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
So can I go back to my before I lose my thread? Oh, you got Mohammed Sharif?
Yeah. Dennis, good show, Dennis. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm outdoors, so please forgive me. So if this government is going to be one term, 6 years, then Dr. Duke, with all due respect, Dr. Duke's prescription is the route to go. I will give you a new government in 2029 if those election promises are not kept. So that's what we're talking about. It's very, very serious. The Liberian situation is dire. There are no roads. The people cannot wait for 3 more years just to get a pliable road. I mean, this has been going on for over 100 years. So when are we going to get a government that's going to come in and just hit the ground running? And it's not too hard. I'm confident that this administration, with all of the, the goodwill, the enthusiasm, the people around, I'm sure they're going to get to work really, really soon. And when they do, they can achieve those election promises. A lot of those election promises, they're not really hard. The money is there. Okay, when you follow George Weah, it is not too difficult. I said it on the last show. So Agman is absolutely correct. We cannot wait. Dennis, every election is about the future. You don't look back. Of course, you're looking back to get all this stolen money from George Weah administration. But for the most part, you're going to look forward to develop the country. We need roads going from Monrovia to the southeast. And I'm not talking about, right now, I'm talking about pliable roads in the next 3 months. In the long run, in 4 years, I need a paved road from Ganta to Zwedru, from Zwedru to Kitamas. You're going to have a different situation if this doesn't happen. You're going to have a different situation if corruption is not checked. You're going to have a different situation if the educational system remains decrepit. If tribalism and corruption, nepotism, remain as high as it is under George Weah. George Weah didn't do anything. So we cannot say, well, George Weah didn't do anything. Look at what George Weah did. If George Weah is the barometer, then I'll give you a new president in 2029.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's what we're talking about. That's how serious this is for some of us. I mean, we're not going to play with this situation. So it is about time that we let that go Walker needs to come in. He has the experience. That's what we all talked about. Those of us who are independent and partisans of the UP who were also talking on his behalf, he has the experience. So we have confidence that he's going to come in and hit the ground running. He's not going to learn on the job like George Weah was learning on the job. But I will tell you again, the prescription for being a one-term president is to listen to what Dr. Duplé is saying. And with all due respect to the great doctor whom I respect very well, and thank you guys for taking my call. I'm outdoors, so please, voice was too much. So I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Did I really misspoke? I want to continue this because people seem to say that I'm telling that Bokar will not do what he promised, that he has the right to say people should be quiet. I think, you know, and then Mohammed saying, oh, we want road in 3 months. But Mohammed, you living in America. You don't get roads in 3 months. Why don't you go back to Liberia and do it? I don't think we should be talking about this. You know, we're talking about reality. I'm telling you, you had a government that was broke for 6 years. Liberia was on the margin of corruption, everything else. For 6 years, no serious businessmen or women came to Liberia in the last 6 years. And then a new government comes up. You think people are going to jump on a plane tomorrow and say, oh, there's a new government, let's go see Morovia, let's go spend some money? You think that's how it happened? I never said Bokar should not respect his commitment. I'm just saying, in reality, campaign promises are campaign promises. After the inauguration, you walk into the office, they say, Mr. President, the payroll is due next week. We got $1.5 million in the bank, but we need $9 million. You got to find it. That put everything on the hold. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Bokar put it. Bokar never said, we are discussing this because somebody said it, that Amara said it. Now that I'm hearing that it was Amara who said it, and then people are mad about it in Unity Party. I never seen any communication about this. Manage your expectation. If Liberians are not grown up enough to manage their expectation, then we have a problem. Because we've been from 1990 to now, from downhill to downhill, downhill to downhill. And people say, somebody say, yeah, expect your expectation, lower your expectation, whatever it is. It's not Bokar's speech. Unity Party has a communication channel. And I don't even know why we're discussing this. It's not from Unity Party, it's from Amara Kune.
Yeah, we don't hear anything from Unity Party.
Yeah, but why do they have to respond to Amara? He's a senator elect. Why do they have to say to Amara? Amara is a senator. He's not a member of the team. Nobody heard of Amara. No one heard of Amara on the Unity Party team until he started announcing the results. So let's be fair. Okay, why do we pick up something from somebody saying it? Did he say on behalf of the Unity Party, or he said on behalf of the government? Because he's going to be part of the government. So he's saying it on behalf of the government, as well on behalf of the Senate. He's not saying on behalf of the Bokar team.
So actually, in some context, he has said
but you put it in context. You don't
like the JFK thing. The finance team.
But they're contextualizing what man said. The man is not part of Bokar team. Nobody has seen Amara with Bokar.
No,
when he went to Liberia, I remember 6 months after he started campaigning, he said he talked to everybody, but nobody responded to him. He said he went to everybody, he called on everybody, nobody responded to him. So that means he was not part of nobody's campaign. And all of a sudden he comes up, he made a presentation, and people say, oh yeah, he put a war room together and said, no, he was not him, it was somebody else. But let's not do this. And they're starting to say, oh, the team's supposed to do this. They say, are we running the campaign for them? They won an election, give them time to set up their government. And then you can criticize. And that's what I'm saying. Let a man set up his team. Let him work with his team and set up his government. And then from the appointment, he said it. He said, last week I said it here. He said, being on the transition team does not mean you are going to be part of the government. You're doing a technical job. He said it at the opening. And everybody remember that. So when we get those things, we got a government agenda, a new budget, then we say, okay, Bokar, this is where you're going, and then we're going to hold on to you. And this is not part of the promise, or this is part of the promises you made. Then you can talk about it. But you can't sit here and then make, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing that. Oh, Amara said this. Why nobody is responding? Am I supposed to respond to Amara Kone? He's a senator-elect. He's
Thank
not
you.
working for Joe Buckeye. He's never been part of Joe Buckeye team. So
Thank
what
you.
a headache. Come on, guys. Let's be serious. And as far as expectations are combined, Liberians, you got bar roads. You're going to have bar roads next week. You're going to have bar road next year. You're going to have bar road for another 18 months. Because you do not transfer roads. The road cannot be transported from one country to another one. You can't take road from Italy and bring it to Liberia. And to make the Southeast Road, they say $1.6 billion. You budget is $500,000. Come on, guys, let's be serious. It's not nobody being supposed to talk about expectation, lowering your expectation. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to be used to it. We sit here and we say, oh yeah, we want this, we want it. Yeah, you want road, go build it.
That's why Mohammed said that's the prescription for one term. Evans is asking, did Liberian manage their expectation under President Weah? That's why he's asking. But
oh yeah, they did. Because they never saw the highway, they never saw the airplane, they never saw the $25 million, but they never revolted. So they sat down.
All right. This leads us to our Tabata of the week. And I learned a new word. Maybe that's my Tabata, right? When they when you own maybe your car, and the car is going to, let's say, Monrovia from Kakata or from Sino. And by the time the car gets from Kakata, you jump off the car and maybe start walking. Then you have Henry Costa your way.
When did you hear that, Dennis? I'm just hearing it.
Yeah, so if you work so hard for something at the end, you say, this is not going to work, and you jump off, then you have Henry Costa your way out.
And the car continues to drive.
The car continues to go to the destination.
Okay, we got that.
Mr. Sully, what's the Tabata of the week?
Oh man, I always forget the Tabata. I think it has to be maybe it was last week though. Jefferson Kweji had a press conference and said something about the election was stolen. They got evidence, but they're not going to raise any issues. Something along those lines. In the beginning, he spoke very forcefully, as though he was ready to announce something, and then he said, "But we will let it go. We have evidence. We know this election was stolen and everything like that, but we will let it go for the sake of peace," or something along those lines. If you have evidence that's that strong and you believe, and there was significant malpractice to change the result of the election, and you believe you have the authority to do something about it, I think he has options, but just to say after your political leader, your president has conceded and called and said, follow my example, you come and usually when the principal speaks, no one speaks and into the same issue. So that was a complete Tabata to me.
Dr. Duke, Flomo Livingston said, my Tabata is people running around with Amara Conan's Facebook post.
Exactly. Okay. No, he took my Tabata. Then I got to get another one. My other Tabata that I have is one thing that you had on the subject line we didn't discuss, which was George Weah going to the EAU for this conference when he's supposed to be in the middle of transition. And we never talk about that. And we will spend 2 hours talking about Amara thing on Facebook. That's what we're supposed to have discussed. What is he doing in Dubai when he's supposed to give power in 2 months? I remember there was a situation like this. Mandela got elected, and he sent almost a handwritten note to Liberia for the president to come. We were in the middle of transition. Amos was going out, Komako was coming in. The tickets were already bought and everything. The passport were in Abidjan to get a visa and everything. You know what Amos did? He said, no, I'm not going because I'm leaving office in a month. You're going to take over on March 3rd. So you go to this. This is you. Because whatever happened between Liberians, and South Africa is going to be in the future. So that's you, not me. The only person who worked from Amos team who went will come up with was me. But see, that's what happened. You say no, and you okay, the conference on climate change and all of that. Who work on you on these issues, Mr. President? Let them go with my delegation. We send 2 technicians from each team to go to this conference so that there's a follow-up. He's going to come up. There's no note. There's nothing. And $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth, wasted when we don't have the money. We don't discuss that. We're going to discuss somebody's Facebook post that makes no sense. Come on. That's my Tabata. George, we are taking a whole delegation to go spend money in Dubai when he had no business going there.
I spoke to people who say he's still in power and every cent that belongs to him will take it before he leaves. Emmanuel Brown said, my Tabata of the week is hearing Bapulu County Senator-elect Amara Connor calling on Liberians to manage their expectation, complete Tabata. Sam Waller said, the Tabata of the week is Dennis being in a hurry to demand action from President-elect Boakai after opposing his candidacy during the entire campaign. All right, that's all we have for today at this time. Before we draw down the curtains, I want to hear your parting comments, sir. Dr. Dukley.
My parting comment is, one, I think, we should give ourselves the time to, debate the issue that we need to debate. Wasting our time and talking about what an incoming government is supposed to do or not do.
That's a big deal.
No. To me, it's not a big deal because I say, okay,
you want us to waste our time on someone?
No. I'm not wasting time. No. I'm just saying you don't have a government yet. You have an outgoing government.
We are is out. So why should we talk about we are? He's out. Nobody cares now. He's not going to do anything.
Okay, you have an incoming government that is not in place yet. You don't know who's going to be part of that government. You don't know what the emergency agenda of that government is going to be. So to sit and criticize and say you haven't done this, you haven't spoken.
No, we're just checking him. Our expectations are high.
No, but Dennis, you got to let me make my point now.
Okay.
You know that you and Boakai now debating. That you and Boakai debating. We're not in a debate here. I'm just saying.
Boakai doesn't debate unless it's weird.
Yeah, he doesn't debate. Boakai is, he got his leadership style. So I'm just saying, as long as we don't have a government in working, Boakai has not announced anybody from the government. He said, this is my traditional team. I saw that list someplace on a different show. Maybe we didn't get it. It was on a Unity Party letterhead. It was on, I would say, it was on Spoon. They showed a list with the names and everybody was part of that list. I saw it on Spoon.
That's unofficial.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't know if it was on Unity Party letterhead. So I don't know if letterhead means official or not, or if you want to Boakai to email it to you. But definitely, this is not a fighting matter. Let him set his government. Let him start working. Let him make the first pronouncement. And then you say, aha. But until then, let George Weah pass the administration to Boakai. And then we see what happens. Until then, I say, my man, we're talking plenty, but not much substance.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Salif, your closing comments.
Look, presidential transitions are serious matters, and it's not always seamless. It's complicated in any context, in any country. I was not here tonight to try to make it seem as though it's a seamless process. They should do magic. Because it's not seamless, that is the more reason why I think whatever structure that's put in place, we need to understand it. We need to understand what they're doing, and because it gives us some insight into the potential administration, the composition of a potential government, what the priorities will be and things like that. Um, if you transition well, you are methodical, you're disciplined, you set a tune, you hit the ground running right after the ceremonies are over on January 22nd. And the government gets to work, the president gets to work. People will be set to move towards confirmation. Those that are political appointees and need to be confirmed, those that are just presidential staff don't need confirmation will get to work right away. A lot of things need to be put in place that are not just paperwork. Yes, paperwork will be there, turn over notes and verifications and things like that, checking people's backgrounds and so on. All of those things taken together constitute the transition process. There are serious things there. You plan for the investiture ceremony. That has to go seamless because you're inviting foreign heads of state and government. You're putting your country, you're showcasing Liberia's best, so this is a critical period. It is a very, very serious period. I know people are taking it seriously. They more so were calling for some kind of transparent process so that we know as citizens that we can be assured that this is a new day. There will be a new administration in place. It will be competent. It will be diverse. It will be Liberians from all across the country who are qualified and competent and able to serve, who are suitable for their roles, and that would take Liberia in a new direction. There are some things that seem very impossible because we don't have the money, we don't have the budget. It just seems impossible. But I have read about leaders and seen leaders who have moved mountains. Things that seemed impossible all of a sudden appear very likely, very doable because of the inspiration, because of the work, because of the integrity of said leaders. So we hope this will be our case. Our budget will be more than $2 billion. We can build roads, we can build dams and bridges and do big things to move our country forward. It will not happen, of course, in 6 months, in 1 year, maybe not even 2 years. But we expect a lot from President Barker. And I believe the people that are around him, I believe that they mean well and they're credible and competent people, that there will be more than just a marginal difference between the Barker administration and we administration.
And only time will tell if these will come to pass. And we are hoping and praying that definitely we're going to have a break from the past. And the nightmare the country went through for the past 6 years will be relics of the past. On that note, we want to say thank you so much for your time tonight on Tough Talking Thursday. Thanks to those who call in, those who comment, and those who watch the show, even those who will watch later. Always focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Until then, we close with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good night, and God bless you.
We are Liberians.